Before we get in depth on the topic of shadow work, I want to mention the fact that it is not a dark thing. Shadow work, like positive thinking, is a tool that can be used by people to order and explain consciousness. The importance of shadow work, then, is bringing the sides of ourselves that we avoid to the light, while consciously having active discussions about it with ourselves. It is often a misconception that shadow work is the dark side of spirituality, and that if you begin this task, you stay in this phase. But, like everything else, shadow work is truly a tool that can be used to travel along the paths that we have chosen. In this video, I'm going to talk about some of the benefits of shadow work in an effort to bring it to your consciousness so it can be used as a tool. Shadow work, within the same vein as positive thinking, is a tool that is used to boost awareness. And because it is a tool to the human soul, it is not something that can consume you or show you the bigger picture. Instead, it should be used in tandem with other tools like positive thinking and law of attraction principles to guide you. When you first start using shadow work, there will be a difference in your consciousness. You are going to be thinking more objectively and more consciously. Shadow work, in essence, allows you to take a look into your being and become aware of all the little things you didn't know were there. Besides becoming aware of your being, you feel empowered by this knowledge. This is a huge benefit of shadow work. Shadow work, in its very name, implies that there are things about your being that you don't know, and that there are things that you have suppressed and denied about yourself. Once the process of shadow work has started, you find yourself fully and objectively in the truth of the situation. This doesn't mean that the other facets of you are dulled either. You are still fully emotional. But what makes shadow work different from positive thinking is that it calls up the things that we have repressed about ourselves, accepts them, and starts to integrate them into our awareness and consciousness. This is powerful because the things that we have suppressed about ourselves for so long can then become a tool or an important facet of our being. Not to mention, it is a unity of our beings, which is looked at as an ultimate strength. Another benefit that is monumental about shadow work is that there is not just pain and suffering that is brought to the light to be resolved, but there's plenty of beautiful things about exploring your denied self. You find old hobbies, you revisit ideas that you have never gotten to. When exploring the shadow side or the pieces of consciousness that you pushed away, you get to see all of the greatness that is within you. While shadow work is actively bringing the harder parts of reality to the forefront of your mind to resolve the pain, shadow work is also a gold mine of the human soul. When you bring into the light all that you have denied, it is like finally going into your room and admitting that there is a huge mess. But the process of cleaning your room is not hard, and at times it can be pleasurable. You find, reclaim, and reorganize your consciousness when you do shadow work. And it is the same thing when you clean up a mess that you have been denying. In the process of shadow work, you become more and more authentic to yourself. Shadow work opens up your personal truths and allow you to explore things that you really want. By rejecting parts of ourselves or trying to remove vulnerabilities, we bury things about ourselves subconsciously. We do this because it protects us from certain situations, rejection, and emotional and physical harm. Tapping into these vulnerabilities, accepting that they are there, then allows us to become more authentic to ourselves. Shadow working aims to shed light on the things that we have kept away from the truth. Shadow work bursts open all the things that we have kept hidden about ourselves, and it finally gives us the power to take into account what we actually have. We are not who we think we are. There's so much more to everybody. When you can start to open yourself up, you will find that you can make actual decisions about what you want that actually go towards your mission in life. Shadow work shows you who you really are, and what you really want. It puts you in a position to understand yourself, to know who you are, and this is where life becomes easier. Your truth so plain and clear to you, you almost have no choice but to follow it. There is no way to live a happy life without this. You have to know what is authentic to you. You have to be self-aware and know your truth. In essence, you have to know what you really want in order to make choices that actively take you towards a life of satisfaction, happiness, and purpose. Being stuck happens to all of us. It is usually because of an inability to see the big picture that we find ourselves in ruts. With some of the work on the unconscious sides of ourselves, we can begin to open up new avenues for ourselves, learn new lessons, and add truth to our arsenal. With truth as our main weapon, life and all the problems that come from it are now faceable. People have the misconception that shadow work is something that makes one powerless to their fears, but really, shadow work makes you face your powerlessness. And in doing so, you can be released of the pressure and the stress from past or hypothetical future events that gnaw on the human soul. What is amazing is that through shadow work, you are volunteering your vulnerabilities to your consciousness. And through that very act, you are not powerless to the scenario, but instead actively working on it. It allows you to become aware and therefore disidentify from. Then you can change the patterns and cycles that you have been stuck in. Most importantly, shadow work causes integration, and integration is peace. Being whole is peace. Shadow work actively reverses the process of fragmentation, and all the sides of you slowly start to piece back together. The more you explore and reveal to yourself, the more that you become at peace. Shadow work tells you what you really want and why. It brings you closer to the truth and the journey that you are supposed to be on. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any advice or stories about shadow work that you feel comfortable sharing, please leave them in the comments below. If you liked this video, please consider leaving a like or subscribing to my channel. And as always, have a great day.